Hello everyone. Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from whichever part of the world you are. I'm Veronica Rambabu from Share Every Smarties Club. I'm so glad to host today's advanced meeting number 401. My best wishes to all the Smarty panel members for today. And now it's time to welcome the prime mover of the day. He is none other than Mr. Rohit to introduce today's guest speaker. Over to you, Rohit.
Hello everyone, my name is Rohit India. She is an Indian residing in the beautiful of Mauritius. Thanks for giving me this golden opportunity. It's time to invite our smarty guest, Miss Rashmit. Over to you.
I would like to start with a question. Have you ever made a mistake? You can raise your hands, I can see you all. Have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever made a mistake and regretted it? How many of you all have ever made a mistake and actually learned from it? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my dear Smarties, Sharevians, and dear guests. One famous example of a funny mistake with an incredible result is the discovery of penicillin, the first antibiotic to be discovered. In the year 1928, Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming left a petri dish of some bacteria uncovered in his lab while he left for a vacation. Now, when he came back, he found out that a mold had grown on his dish and killed the bacteria surrounding the mold. This led to the discovery of the antibiotic properties of penicillin, which revolutionized medicine and saved countless lives. Now, Fleming's mistake of leaving the petri dish uncovered allowed the mold to contaminate the bacteria. This was a mistake from his part. But this mistake ultimately led to a groundbreaking discovery which had a profound impact on human health. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a great example of how mistakes can sometimes lead to the most unexpected yet positive outcomes. Mistakes are the stepping stones to learning. Now, I'm talking about sweet mistakes. In general, the term sweet mistake refers to mistakes that have a positive or a beneficial outcome, despite the fact that they weren't intended or expected. Now, sometimes the outcome of a mistake may perhaps be better than what was initially intended. And that is exactly why we call them the stepping stones of learning. Who could have thought that the discovery of the world's first antibiotic was in fact just a sweet mistake? Some more examples of sweet mistakes would be happy accidents in art. Sometimes artists make mistakes while creating a piece of art. But that mistake is what gives the artwork its unique touch. The best example I can think of right now is Bob Ross, famous painter and television host. He was known for embracing his happy accidents in his paintings, such as he talked about a misplaced brush stroke which actually added depth to his mountain stroke. Second example that I have for you all today is unplanned surprises in relationships. Now, mistakes in our relationships can also lead to unexpected yet incredible results. Now, these relationships may be personal, everyday life relationships, or it could be professional relationships. For my Sparties, it could be in school between you and your teacher. And for the others who are working, it could be the relationship between you or your boss or other colleagues. Now, what are these unplanned surprises in relationships that I'm talking about? For example, forgetting about a fancy dinner reservation at a restaurant may lead to the most spontaneous, fun, and adventurous picnic, which may end up strengthening your bond between you and it could be your friend, it could be your partner, it could be anyone. It's mistakes like this that lead to creative innovations and unexpected joys in life. Sweet mistakes are like toppings of a pizza. It makes it even more tasty and appealing. Without these toppings, life would be so basic and it would be so plain, like black and white. But I believe our sweet mistakes is what makes it colorful. We all have our share of mistakes through our journey. Some sweeter than others not so sweet. Yet, by learning to embrace and accept it for what it was, is that we can truly grow and aspire to be better ahead. As a matter of fact, sweet mistakes are similar to chapters in our life. Because these chapters are what we cherish, no matter what. You can never read a book and just skip a chapter. You need to go through chapter, page by page to know what will happen at the end. Similarly, our mistakes form a big part of who we are, what we are, why we do what we do. It forms part of our personality and our character. I would say it is something to laugh at oneself and with others. Now, I would actually like to ask you all this question. Is there any time in life where you've just accidentally made a mistake and you ended up getting better results than whatever you had planned or expected? Please do share. I would really like to know. What about Meha? Is there any time you've ended up making a mistake and you got better results than whatever you had in mind?
Yes, I made a drawing and there was a leaf that was falling from a tree and I got it in the wrong way. Then it looked a little better actually than I expected it.
I got lost going to the college one day, and because I was late, I had to pair up with someone else who was lost also, and he became a judge, and I got offered a summer teaching job because he and I were partners, just because I got lost. I made the mistake of getting lost. So yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was.
You made a friend, even though you got lost on your way to college.
Yes, and I got his teaching job, teaching cultural geography, which helped me to learn about India, which is now my favorite country because of the Smarties.
That's incredible. That's amazing. We should totally meet sometime. And what about Kalyani ma'am?
I think I have lots of them. So you have sweet mistakes that happen today in daily life as well, like between partners. So you can take them also as an example. So yeah.
Yes. What are your sweet mistakes?
One day I was late to school actually, but I thought that every day I used to go late to school after assembly. So every day my assembly teacher would shout me, why you are coming late every day? So next time if you come, won't allow you to school. Then one day I was too late and I thought that definitely he would get out me to off the school. Then he told me that it's okay. Today as we all know that today is Children's Day, so you may go. We don't want to shout any children. So that was a sweet thing.
That's a good idea. If Children's Day falls on a school day this year, I think I'll be able to get away with not doing my homework because it'll be Children's Day. That's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, so we all have our own unique, interesting stories from getting lost to the way to college, or in our everyday life, like Coach Kalyani mentioned, or getting away with being late at school because it's Children's Day. See, we all have our unique stories, and that's what sets us apart from everyone. Our past, our background, and basically what we're up to in life. Even I have my sweet mistakes here and there, and I would like to share one in specific. So here in Mauritius, college starts from grade 7. So after grade 6, you get into college. And there was this one girl in specific. I did not get along with her at all. I don't know if it was our cultural differences that set us apart, or if it was our difference in personalities, but we were in the same class. And I could not deal with her. I did not know what to do. We used to glare at each other, and any time she found, she would try to pull me down. And I remember I was so upset because, these are the few years of high school. You need to make it count. You need to make it worth it. You cannot be caught up about one silly classmate. And I was so upset. I was talking to my parents about this at dinner one night, and what do I do? What do I do? She's upset with me and I didn't even do anything. And my parents always teach me that if there's a problem in life, you should always just go for it. You should always try to solve it. You shouldn't just let it be and let it linger around. So I actually ended up buying her some iced coffee over lunch, and I just went to her table. I sat down and I said, "Listen, I know you and we've got a problem, but I want to solve this problem. I don't want to go out after school and just, this is what I'm going to think of. I don't want there to be any negativity between us. I want us to be friends." And we ended up becoming friends. In fact, now, 3 years later, we're not in the same class anymore. Anytime we meet in the hallways or after school, we always hug each other and we always talk. Sweet mistake, because at the end of the day, the girl is now my friend, and I only have good and positive things to look forward to once I'm done with school. But moving on, making mistakes is a natural part of life and the learning process. As the quote says, remember that life's greatest lessons are learned at the worst times and from the worst mistakes. The key is to use these mistakes as opportunities for growth. All you need to do is approach them with a positive mindset. Now, how can I do that? How can I learn from my mistakes? Once again, I would like to ask you all, how do you learn from your mistakes? You just keep repeating it? Do you learn from it? What do you do when you know you've made a mistake? Can I ask Kavya this one?
When I make a mistake, I always try to solve it. And sometimes if that mistake is the worst mistake I've ever made, I kind of feel a lot of guilt for it. And that gives me a solution, and that gives me the idea on how to solve that problem.
Definitely. We never leave any problems in life unsolved. We need to solve them. That's exactly what I did. We all agree that solving the mistake is the best idea. It's the best option. And once again, like Coach Andrea said, with a positive mindset. We always approach with a positive mindset and we try to solve the problem. I totally agree. And now I have actually jotted down together 3 points that I think work best from personal experiences. I mean, I don't have a lot of experiences as a 15-year-old, but here and there where I have made a few silly mistakes, I think that these 3 steps work best. The first one, take responsibility. The one thing I have learned while maturing and growing older is that the more you try to blame other people for the mistake, the more it's going to make it worse. It's just going to make you seem like a coward. For example, the story between me and my friend, I used to just blame. I could have just blamed her. I could have said that it was a her problem and that it was not a me problem. I could have blamed it on her. But instead, I took my parents' advice and I just decided to go and talk with her over lunch. You have to focus on you. You need to acknowledge your mistake. How do you do that? You don't jump to conclusions. You don't just decide, oh my God, we made a mistake. Not my fault. It's her fault. She did it or he did it. It's not my fault. The more you back off, the more you deny it, the more cowardly you're going to seem. And if you want to develop from your mistake, you need to be responsible for it. You need to accept it. Yes, I made the mistake and I will work upon it. Secondly, analyze and reflect. You don't just make the mistake and you accept it like, oh, yes, I messed up this one step while dancing. Okay, it's my mistake. I accept. To your dance teacher, yes, I accept. But then what next? After accepting your mistake, what next? You need to sit down and you need to think about it. You need to think about what went wrong. You need to sit down and think about what contributed to the mistake. You need to think about what you could have done differently. For example, since I took the example of pizza earlier, the toppings on the pizza itself. What are the steps? I have the dough. I have my sauce. I have my toppings. But my pizza didn't turn out well. What went wrong? Instead of blaming the oven or anything else, I need to probably sit down and I need to think about it. What did I do wrong? Was any of my product expired? Did I not use the right amount? What was it? You need to think, you need to analyze, and you need to reflect. And third, create a plan. You have to use all your observations to make a plan. Everything you have noted, everything you have realized, everything your mind went upon, you need to sit down, you need to jot it all down, make your plan for how you can avoid making the same mistake in the future. Now, if you have to avoid making the same mistake in the future, this may require a few things. This may require a list of new things that you will have to do. For example, setting new goals. This is especially if you are repeating a goal. For example, if you wanted to make the pizza and it didn't work out, you need to set new mindset for it. You need to set new goals. Or even if in life you have set a goal and you failed at it, it's fine. We'll do it again. We'll just set a bunch of new goals. Maybe my time management was wrong, so I can set a few goals on that. Second could be changing behaviors. Maybe I'm too lenient. I'm not strict enough with myself and I'm just letting it pass by. So I need to sit down, I need to reflect, and I need to change my behavior. Another thing, the last point, would be seeking out additional resources or support. This one, as a student, and I think my fellow Smarties would agree, is, for example, you just had a test and you're not satisfied with your marks, but you really sat down and you really studied for it, but you didn't get what you thought. You didn't get what you expected. You got worse. Now, you may want to go out of your way to seek out some additional resources, for example, tuitions. For example, this one time in physics, I was doing extremely not good. I was not getting the concepts and I was doing it in school, but I was not getting what I wanted. I couldn't understand the concepts. My mom and my dad found a tuition for me. And the next test that I had, thankfully, I did much better. So creating a plan is all about setting your new goals, changing your behaviors, and seeking out additional resources or support. Now, you can only do these if you have accepted that you made a mistake and you failed, if you analyzed and reflected upon what you need, what you have, and what you need to do. Do not forget at all times that we need to follow through our plan. We need to make sure we are on track. This is exactly what is going to help us to grow and develop as an individual. Another point I'd like to bring up here is, since I mentioned failure, I think we always view failure as such a turn down. In fact, I am also guilty of this. When I was slightly younger, I used to start new activities and I used to not do, if I ever did not good at it or if I felt like I was failing, I would just back off. I would just quit. If I'm not perfect at it, I don't want it. But that's not the mindset that we need to have. We need to have a more positive mindset. We need to be more approachive of what we need to work on, what we went wrong upon. So the quote that I have thought of is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Just because you failed doesn't mean you need to stop. We should stop viewing failure as such a taboo topic about, oh my God, what is everyone going to think about it? What is everyone going to say? Stop thinking about others. Stop viewing failure as a negative point. View it as a positive point. View it as part of your success. Make it a story you'd like to share with everyone when you are successful. Because after all, one needs to take a step back to leap higher. Always keep that in mind. If you are ever unsuccessful at anything, at any point of life, you have to keep your simple mindset. After rain comes the sunshine and the rainbows. Just because there's rain now, the weather is bad, doesn't mean that it's not going to end. At the end of the day, the rain will stop and the sun and the rainbows will come out. You need to just view your life as such. Because life is truly 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it. Yes, we've had our failures, we've had our mistakes along the journey, but they can only be inspiring and lead us to bigger and better things if we learn from them, if we own up to them. Because it's very easy to make a mistake and, realize your mistake, analyze and react and think about it and say, yes, I made a mistake. I need to work upon it. But it won't work. It won't work out. You won't get your goals if you don't learn from them, if you don't own up to them. Because our failure and mistakes only happen, they only occur to inspire us and lead us to other things in life, to better things in life. So we really need to learn from our mistakes and own up to them. And on this note, I would like to pass over the virtual stage to my dear Smarty, Veronica.
Thank you, Rashmit, for your great message. It was really awesome. We usually used to do mistakes, but you have called those mistakes as sweet mistakes. And also, after listening to your short message, we are realizing and knowing where we did mistakes and what we should learn from them. Hope this message is useful to all the participants who are presented here. For that, I must extend my sincere love and gratitude for your tips and techniques, for making us perfection from imperfection. And now I feel delighted to give the virtual stage to the reviewer of the day. She is Miss Meha Pal from West Bengal, India. Over to you, Meha.
Thank you very much, Veronica. So, hello everyone, I'm Neha Pal from West Bengal. So, first of all, we all should give a big round of applause to Miss Rashmit ma'am for giving a great excellent session at this young age. First, starting the session with a small and very right question, which is really professional for me and everyone. Giving small details, giving small examples of sweet mistakes. What is sweet mistakes? We always should see mistakes as bad or worse. Sometimes some mistakes are sweet, some mistakes are bad. But it depends on what you're thinking about it. You should always get away from the mistakes. You should work on it, plan it. If you make a mistake, don't run away from it. Think about it. Think what you have done the wrong thing. Then move on. Learn from it. That's why she gave us very examples of the mistakes are the stairs of success. In my opinion, she was very gorgeous. Her appearance has a positive confidence in this session. Her postures are very charming. Her looks, her body postures are amazing at some age. And this topic was very pertinent, as there are some people who make small mistakes and think about it all day and all night, overthink about it, and get stress, depression, anxiety. And there's also some people like me who makes all big mistakes and don't care about it. Like leave it. Yeah. So I needed the station very much because I'm that kind of person of the second type. She gave us some tips, great tips actually, which we can use when we can make mistakes. Thank you, Miss Rashmit ma'am, for giving us such a gorgeous session about sweet mistakes. I loved it a lot. And I request Rambabu sir to give us many more sessions from Rashmit ma'am. Thank you, everyone. And thanks for sharing Smarties for giving me this opportunity to handle this part of session as a reviewer. Thank you.
Thank you, Meha, for your outstanding review. It was really fantastic.